The belly fat that you're dying to get rid of is actually the most dangerous fat on your body. It's called visceral fat. It's actually been associated with an increased risk of premature death. So in this video, let's go over exactly what visceral fat is, and then we'll go over 5 different ways you can get rid of it. Now, there are all different types of fat within your body. Some are good and some are actually dangerous. Let's go over the first one, brown fat. See, brown fat is the good fat. This is the fat that actually creates heat, actually burns calories, burns energy. So most people want more brown fat within their body. I want more brown fat. So I try to do things to increase the amount of brown fat. Like I exercise, working out increases the amount of brown fat. I take cold showers or I expose myself to cold temperatures. That increases the amount of brown fat within your body. Now, the second type of fat is the subcutaneous fat, the white fat. This is the type of fat you're probably familiar with. This is the fat that jiggles, the fat that's around your stomach, the fat that's like on your triceps, on your hips, on your butt. This is the fat that most people visually don't like, but there are a lot of good things about having some subcutaneous fat on your body. Just think about it. You want some place to store away excess calories in case you need them down the road when you're not eating, right? Look at it like this. You just ate a meal, right? You elevated your blood sugar. Now the pancreas produces insulin to lower blood sugar and to store away excess calories, right? Carbohydrates get stored in the muscle and the liver. You know, protein gets used for protein synthesis to rebuild your body. You know, actually other excess calories like fat, or even if you're eating too many carbohydrates, get stored away in fat cells. Just think, if there was no place to store away these excess calories, what would happen? Your blood sugar would stay elevated for too long. You'd wind up with diabetes and all these other metabolic type disorders. So having some subcutaneous fat to store away excess calories is actually a really good thing. Plus, subcutaneous fat gives off a hormone called leptin. See, leptin tells the brain to stop eating, that you've eaten enough, which is actually pretty cool when you think about it, right? Let's say you've been overeating, for quite some time now. You're increasing the amount of subcutaneous fat. This subcutaneous fat, this white fat, is going to start communicating with the brain through leptin to say, cut back, start eating less. Now, the third type of fat, this is the dangerous one. This is the visceral fat. This is what this video is all about. See, the visceral fat is that organ fat, that deep, like belly fat. It's underneath the subcutaneous fat. You may have seen people with those big, some people call it a beer belly. I don't really like to call it that, but a big, hard, midsection, the fat that doesn't jiggle. That's the dangerous fat. That's the fat you want to get rid of. Let's go over some of the big dangers of having too much visceral fat within your body. So research is showing that visceral fat gives off like proteins and molecules that can actually shut down lipolysis, can shut down your body's ability to burn fat. Imagine that one fat stopping another fat from being burned. Really bad. Okay. Another thing visceral fat does is that it increases the amount of inflammation within your body. Now, this inflammation like goes everywhere. It can affect your brain, can affect you cognitively, right? Can affect your heart, can lead to heart disease, can actually increase your cancer risk. This is what research is showing. Now, another major thing visceral fat does is that it's linked to metabolic syndrome, is linked to insulin resistance. If you become insulin resistant, you can't store away your excess calories effectively. If your muscles, your liver, your fat cells are not responding to insulin, just think you're going to wind up with elevated blood sugar. You're going to wind up with type 2 diabetes. You're going to wind up with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. So you really want to do things to reduce the amount of this dangerous fat within your body. So let's go over 5 specific things you can do to reduce the amount of visceral fat within your body. Now, one thing that research has shown that you can do is to reduce the amount of carbohydrates you're eating. Eating a low-carb diet has been shown to reduce visceral fat, and specifically reducing the amount of fructose in your diet. See, not all sugars are processed the same within your body. Like, for example, table sugar. It's half glucose, half fructose. See, fructose is processed within the liver. So if you're eating a lot of fructose, obviously there's fructose in fruit. I wouldn't be too concerned about fruit. I'd be more concerned about high fructose corn syrup, like drinking sodas and just sweetened processed type foods. High fructose corn syrup is in everything from cereal to yogurt to cookies to cakes to breads. Eliminate or dramatically reduce the amount of fructose within your diet if you want to burn up visceral fat. Now, a second thing you do is exercise. Aerobic exercise has been shown to go after visceral fat. As little as 80 minutes of aerobics per week is a great way to reduce visceral fat. You can just start walking, say 20 minutes a day, 4 or 5 days a week to reduce the amount of visceral fat within your body. Now, a third thing that research is showing can reduce visceral fat is to eat more fiber within your diet and to eat more protein. See, even though you're eating a low-carb diet, you still want to get in enough fiber. So take in most of your carbohydrates in the form of vegetables, like high fiber type vegetables. You can also eat fruits like avocado. Avocado, very high in fiber. You also want to make sure you're getting enough protein. Studies have shown that people who eat more protein are generally thinner. My recommendation for protein is 0.9 grams of protein per pound of lean body weight. Now, a fourth thing you can do is you can reduce calories, like just lose weight. That's going to help you get rid of visceral fat. But studies are showing that fasting, intermittent fasting, is a great way to reduce visceral fat. When you're in a fasted state, for some reason, it seems to target visceral fat. Now, the fifth and final thing you can do is cut back on alcohol. Just like fructose, alcohol goes right to the liver, and you can overtax your liver by drinking too much alcohol. You're going to raise your triglycerides, you're going to increase your visceral fat. So by cutting back on alcohol, you're going to lower and reduce the visceral fat in your body. Now, if you want to learn how to eat low carb coupled with intermittent fasting, I recently put one of my personal training clients on this 4-week low carb intermittent fasting program. I made a video about it. Check it out. I think you're going to find it really helpful.